It looks beautiful from a distance. Golden rings, pale amber clouds, a perfect, almost divine geometry. But Saturn is not beautiful. Saturn is a warning. A world where winds move 5 times faster than the strongest hurricane ever recorded on Earth. A world with no surface, only an endless abyss that crushes, dissolves, and swallows anything that dares to enter. A world where it rains diamonds, and those diamonds eventually melt. This is not a planet you want to visit. This is Saturn. And today, we're going in. Before we get to the horrors, let's understand what we're dealing with. Saturn is the second largest planet in our solar system. Its diameter is over 120,000 kilometers, 9 times wider than Earth. If Earth were the size of a coin, Saturn would be the size of a volleyball. But here's the thing that should unsettle you. Despite its enormous size, Saturn is the only planet in the solar system less dense than water. If you could find a bathtub large enough, Saturn would float. It's a gas giant, mostly hydrogen and helium. No solid ground, no place to land, no floor beneath your feet. If you tried to fly a spacecraft through Saturn, it wouldn't crash. It would simply dissolve, crushed by pressure, melted by heat, vaporized in an atmosphere that goes from cold gas to liquid metal the deeper you go. There is no surface. There is no bottom. Just deeper and darker and hotter. Forever. Let's talk about the atmosphere. Because the moment you enter it, you're already dying. At the cloud tops, the temperature drops to minus 178 degrees Celsius. Winds in the upper atmosphere reach up to 500 meters per second. That's 1,800 kilometers per hour. For comparison, the most powerful hurricane ever recorded on Earth peaked at around 110 meters per second. Saturn's winds are 5 times faster. The sky is made of ammonia crystals. Yellow-brown clouds of toxic gas stretch across bands thousands of kilometers wide, driven by jet streams that have been raging for centuries, possibly millennia. And these winds don't stop. There is nothing to stop them. No mountains, no oceans, no friction from a solid ground. They just accelerate endlessly. NASA's Cassini spacecraft measured these winds during its mission between 2004 and 2017. What it found was not turbulence, it was organized chaos. Bands of wind moving in opposite directions, side by side, separated by invisible walls of pressure, each one wider than an entire continent. Occasionally, white storms break through the cloud layers, storms bigger than Earth itself. One was observed by the Hubble Space Telescope in 1994. In 2010, astronomers watched a storm chase itself around the entire planet until it caught its own tail and collapsed. Saturn doesn't just have weather. Saturn is weather. But the atmosphere has something even stranger. Something that has no parallel anywhere else in the known solar system. At Saturn's North Pole, there is a storm. Not a circular storm, not a spiral, a hexagon. A perfect 6-sided jet stream, 20,000 miles across, larger than Earth. Each side of this geometric shape is wider than our entire planet. It has been rotating unchanged for at least 40 years, possibly much longer. NASA's Voyager spacecraft first detected it in 1981. When Cassini arrived in 2004, it was still there, exactly the same shape, exactly the same size. The winds surrounding the hexagon reach 300 miles per hour. Inside it, a massive vortex rotates, a polar hurricane
with an eye 50 times larger than a typical Earth hurricane. Scientists at Harvard University ran computer simulations to understand how this shape forms. Their conclusion: it's caused by deep thermal convection, storms that originate thousands of kilometers below the cloud tops, where pressure is tens of thousands of times greater than at the surface of Earth. These deep storms pinch the atmospheric jet stream at the top of the planet, forcing it into this impossible geometric shape. Even NASA called it vexing. A hexagon on a planet that has existed for decades, that no probe has ever fully explained. Nature does not draw straight lines, and yet here, Saturn drew 6 of them.
Now let's go deeper. Imagine you are falling through Saturn's atmosphere. You entered at the top, minus 178 degrees Celsius. Ammonia clouds everywhere. You can see nothing. You fall further. The pressure increases. At a depth equivalent to 1 bar, the same pressure as Earth's sea level, the temperature is already minus 139 degrees Celsius. You fall further. The clouds change. Ammonia ice gives way to ammonium hydrosulfide, a yellow, sulfur-stinking chemical compound. Then water ice. The sky, what's left of it, turns darker. You fall further. The pressure reaches thousands of bars. The gas around you stops being a gas. It becomes a liquid. The hydrogen itself, the lightest element in the universe, is being crushed into something dense, thick, alien. And then you reach the layer that exists nowhere else on Earth: metallic hydrogen. At pressures millions of times greater than Earth's atmosphere, hydrogen begins to conduct electricity like a metal. It glows. It moves like a slow, invisible ocean. It generates Saturn's magnetic field, 578 times more powerful than Earth's. This layer goes on for tens of thousands of kilometers, and below it, a rocky metallic core. Temperatures reaching 11,700 degrees Celsius, hotter than the surface of the sun. There is no light, there is no sound. There is only pressure and heat and darkness. And somewhere in this nightmare, it rains diamonds. In Saturn's upper atmosphere, lightning storms rage constantly. These are not ordinary lightning bolts. They are thousands of times more powerful than anything on Earth, and they do something extraordinary. They break apart methane molecules in the atmosphere, releasing pure carbon. That carbon forms soot, and the soot begins to fall. As it descends through the atmosphere, pressure and temperature increase dramatically. The soot is compressed, it crystallizes, it transforms. By the time it reaches a depth of around 30,000 kilometers, it has become a diamond. According to research presented by NASA scientist Kevin Baines, Saturn may produce approximately 1,000 tons of diamonds every single year. The diamonds begin as microscopic particles, but grow as they fall, like raindrops, eventually forming gemstones potentially the size of a fist. Some scientists suggest they could grow even larger. Diamond bergs, chunks large enough to hold in your hand, drifting downward through a dark, crushing alien sky. But even the diamonds don't survive. At the deepest levels, temperatures are so extreme that the diamonds melt, dissolving into a liquid diamond ocean that may flow around Saturn's core. A planet that eats its own diamonds. And then there are the rings. The most iconic feature of Saturn, the thing that makes it look like a jewel of the solar system. The reason humans have gazed at it in wonder for centuries. But look closer.
Saturn's rings extend up to 282,000 kilometers from the planet, nearly the distance from Earth to the Moon. And yet, for all their width, they are impossibly thin. In most places, just 10 meters thick. 10 meters. The height of a 3-story building. They are made of billions of fragments, ice particles, rock, and dust, ranging from the size of a grain of sand to the size of a house. A few are as large as mountains, each one orbiting Saturn at different speeds, in perfect silent procession. Where did they come from? Scientists believe they are the debris of comets, asteroids, or moons that wandered too close to Saturn and were torn apart by its gravity. Shredded, pulverized, scattered into a disk. Saturn is surrounded by the remains of worlds it destroyed. And the rings are not permanent, they are disappearing. NASA's Cassini mission discovered that Saturn is slowly pulling its rings inward, absorbing them into the planet at a rate of several tons of material per second. In cosmic terms, the rings are young, perhaps only 100 million years old, and they will be gone in another 100 million years. We are alive at exactly the right moment to see them. That, perhaps, is the most terrifying thing of all. On September 15th, 2017, NASA's Cassini spacecraft, after 13 years orbiting Saturn, made its final transmission. It had completed 22 daring dives between the planet and its rings, closer than any spacecraft had ever gone. It measured winds that extended 8,000 kilometers below the cloud tops. It photographed the hexagon. It discovered geysers of water on Enceladus. It mapped the methane lakes of Titan. And then, deliberately, to avoid contaminating Saturn's moons, Mission Control commanded it to descend into the planet's atmosphere. Cassini burned up in seconds, crushed and vaporized by the same forces we described tonight. The last signal from Cassini reached Earth at 11:55 a.m. Pacific time. Then, silence. One small machine against a planet that is incomprehensible in scale. Saturn is not a place. It is a force. Ancient, indifferent, magnificent. And from 1.4 billion kilometers away, it still looks like a jewel. That's the cruelest trick of all.
If this video made you feel small, good. That's the point. If you want to see more journeys like this into the most extreme, terrifying, and beautiful corners of the universe, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, which planet should we visit next? Because the solar system is full of places that want to kill you, and we're just getting started.